Cartoons cradled our childhood, and some of the most popular works, such as The Simpsons, Scooby-Doo, and many others, continue to captivate us even as adults. But, did you know that among these very famous cartoons, some have been copied, sometimes very extensively? Indeed, some animation studios have not hesitated to take over the scenario, the details of the characters, the characteristics of the creative universe, or simply all that at once. The Simpsons, Scooby-Doo, Ninja Turtles, Cars, as well as other animated series and animated films have been plagiarized, and believe me, these copies are not to everyone's taste. Would you like to discover the plagiarized version of these cartoons? Make yourself comfortable because here are 10 popular cartoons that have been copied. And if you like this video, don't forget to give us like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell to receive all the notifications and not miss out on any of our upcoming videos. Are you ready? Then let's get started. If I tell you A Cowardly Dog, a team of young teenagers and ghosts of all kinds, what do you think about it? Some of you will answer without hesitation, Scooby-Doo, the popular animated series that was created in 1969 by Hanna-Barbera Studios. But maybe others will think of Goober and the Ghost Chasers instead. This American-Australian animated series, produced by the same studios in the 1970s, is more or less based on the script of the first one. Indeed, Gaspard Goober and the Ghost Chasers tells the adventures of three teenagers who travel the world in search of strange and supernatural phenomena, accompanied by their dog Goober. Like Scooby-Doo, Goober is a cowardly dog who is afraid of ghosts. The only notable differences between the two series are the following. Goober and his friends meet real ghosts, not people in disguise. The dog becomes invisible when he is afraid, and only his collar and hat are visible. And then the team is reduced to 3 people. Unlike Scooby-Doo, which has a lot of episodes and spin-offs, Goober and the Ghost Chasers has only 16 episodes in one season. Some would even say that Goober and the Ghost Chasers has not really been as successful as Scooby-Doo, although it has been very much inspired by it, while others think the opposite. Don't you? Are you familiar with the South Park series? This American animated series, intended mainly for an adult audience, tells the adventures of 4 easily insulted schoolchildren who live in the fictional town of South Park. It is based on real subjects and sometimes deals with issues that are, to say the least, sensitive. Although controversial because of its satirical nature, the series has been a great success since it began airing in 1997. It has even won a large number of awards, including 5 Emmy Awards. It must then be the popularity of this series, which is now in its 23rd season, which certainly inspired the Kuwaitis to take up some of the key elements of the American series to create Block 13. This Kuwaiti animated series, in 3 seasons for 45 episodes, was broadcast during the month of Ramadan for 3 consecutive years, from 2000 to 2002. Although the success of this animated series has been significant in Kuwait, its fame was however limited to the borders of the country. This is due to its great resemblance to South Park. For if you have ever watched these 2 series, you will certainly have noticed that there are many similarities between the 2 programs, both graphically and in terms of plot. We follow the adventures of 4 schoolchildren, particularly inspired by their American counterparts. The series, which is dubbed in the local dialect, deals with subjects related to Kuwaiti culture and society mainly, in a rather comical way. And then, as in South Park, the drawings are made simply, in 2 dimensions, with the colors and geometric figures that we know. Basically, some people did not hesitate to criticize the Kuwaiti cartoon series, which they see as a cheeky copy of South Park, less well done though. On the other hand, some defenders of Block 13 will say that it is rather an Arab adaptation of South Park since the American series has been banned from airing in Middle Eastern countries. And unlike South Park, Block 13 is rather aimed at children. Apart from all this, the subjects covered are considered lighter than those covered in South Park, but was it necessary to copy the graphic universe of the American animated series at this point? Anyway, another anime series, one of the most popular of all time, was also parodied. It is the famous series The Simpsons. Its copy is called the Samsonadzes, and it comes directly from Georgia. Created in 2009, the series is one of the most popular programs on Georgian television. Like The Simpsons, the Samsonadzes are yellow characters. The father of the family, a lazy, dumb banker, and his wife, a carefully styled woman, have 2 children, a boy dressed in jeans pants and a red t-shirt, and a girl dressed in a pink dress and a parrot. And as in The Simpsons, some episodes of the Georgian series are satirical, especially when they evoke politics. Not their own, but that of their neighbors. We can clearly notice that some ideas in The Simpsons have been taken up in the Samsonadzes, but that they have been adapted to the local context which reflects the reality of Georgian society. For Shalva Ramishvili, the creator and producer of the Georgian series, there are also many differences between the two series, and according to him, the Samsonadzes cannot be considered plagiarism. For him, it is rather a pure homage to the American series which is 20 years older than his own. An homage, that is, but one only has to look at the opening credits of the Georgian cartoon to notice that the resemblance goes far beyond a simple homage. Plagiarism can sometimes have serious repercussions, as this new inspiration of dubious origin proves. Indeed, plagiarizing the biggest animated film studio on the planet, namely Disney, is not necessarily the best idea. Indeed, Cars, the animated movie featuring Flash McQueen, an intrepid racing car, was copied by the Chinese studio Blue MTV, which produced Autobots, an almost perfect replica of the American animated movie. Almost everything was copied from the movie, including the characters and even the poster. Lack of innovation? Maybe it is. Of course, Disney was quick to react, and sued the Chinese studio, accusing it of plagiarism. And of course, Disney eventually won the case. The Chinese studio was condemned by a court in Shanghai for violating Disney's rights. There was even talk of compensation for 1.35 million yuan or 186,000 euros in damages and legal costs. Before continuing, here is the question of the day. When do you think the world's first cartoon was invented? Option A. 1892. Option B. 1902. Option C. 1912. Choose the option you think is correct and we will see if you have answered correctly at the end of this video. Some cartoon copies are not to everyone's taste, while others are really great. Let's take the example of the Flintstones series. It's one of the most famous and popular cartoon series ever created by Hanna-Barbera Productions. Launched in 1960, it lasted until 1966 and has 6 seasons and 166 episodes. But, did you know that this very popular anime series is itself a parody? Yes, it is. The Flintstones is very strongly inspired by an American sitcom, The Honeymooners, which was created in the 50s. Indeed. Few people know that the 4 main characters of the series, namely Fred and Wilma Flintstones as well as Barney and Betty LaRoche, are pure and hard copies of the characters of this sitcom. Hanna-Barbera Productions has been accused of having plagiarized the sitcom into their famous prehistoric animated series. Nevertheless, the Flintstones has left its mark on many generations. One thing's for sure though. Without the Honeymooners, the Flintstones wouldn't look the same at all. Did you know that the cartoon Ninja Turtles was also plagiarized, not once but twice? Indeed. 2 cartoon series, one Japanese and the other Canadian-Korean-German take up the plot of the first one. The heroes fight evil and criminals, they master the most elaborate fighting techniques, and each character is distinguished from the other members of his team by a color. Just like in the Ninja Turtles. There is only one significant difference between this series and its parodies. Whether in Kung Fu Dino Posse or The Adventures of T-Rex, the friendly turtles have been replaced by dinosaurs. The Amazing World of Gumball is an American-British animated series that first aired in 2011 on the Cartoon Network. It tells the adventures of the cat Gumball who lives with his goldfish brother Darwin and their family of a rabbit, a cat, and a little bunny. Considered a fairly popular series, The Amazing World of Gumball inspired fans to the point that some didn't hesitate to create an animated version themselves with the means at hand. But that's not the most important thing. Did you know that the series also exists in China, but is not directly related to the original series? No, this is not a Chinese adaptation of the series, but a copy, which is called Miracle Star. We can see that in this Chinese series, many scenes have been faithfully reproduced. Well, we'll let you find out.
Kids you decided to have. Kids you decided to have.
The funny thing is that the producers of The Amazing World of Gumball have found an excellent way to respond to their Chinese colleagues. Rather than take the Chinese studio to court for plagiarism, they decided to take a much more subtle approach. In the episode, The Copycats, which is the 11th episode of the 5th season of the series, Gumball's family, the Wattersons, meet their doubles, a family of goats. Indeed. They copy them totally on everything they do. You'll also found a scene reproduced from an episode of the Chinese series, which itself reproduced the first episode of the American-British series. It is necessary to follow. I grant you that this 11th episode of Season 5 clearly refers to Miracle Star, who copied freely on The Amazing World of Gumball. A nice riposte made to the Chinese studios. And we end with one of the most popular cartoons in the world. Have you ever imagined SpongeBob and Dragon Ball style cartoon version and other One Piece? Many of you will probably think that this is a distortion of the nice character and his friends. Basically, an American fan of the series did not hesitate to make a try with the credits. And when the credits of SpongeBob are made in Japanese animated version, it looks like this. So, what do you think about it? Would you still be tempted by a manga version of SpongeBob? It was 8 shameless plagiarisms of some of the most popular cartoons. In your opinion, are these copies worth watching? Which one might still be of interest to you? Feel free to specify in the comments if you know of other cartoons that were inspired by others, or even simply copied. And finally, the first cartoon in history, Poor Pete, was created in 1892 by the Frenchman Émile Reynaud. And yes, the cartoons date from a long, long time ago.